What is up? Welcome back to Bleach Boys. So much Bleach news to cover today as we got the full interview for the Bleach TYBW Cour 3 Blu-ray, which we've been talking about forever on this podcast. They also announced Bleach TYBW Cour 4 Anime Expo panel is officially on the books. We have all of the fixes they made in the Blu-ray. Kubo has a new comment on his Klub talking about the 20th anniversary preview, which is pretty cool. We have 3 Klub outside questions, and then we have a whole bunch of questions from you guys from the Discord. So we'll cover all of that and more today on Bleach Boys. I'm joined by Pythes. How's it going?
You can't tell me Bleach is 20 years old. Shut up.
Yeah, time comes for us all. There's no hiding from it. And Kubo himself is commenting on it. And how old is Kubo?
Oh, he's older than us, and I feel like I'm turning into dust as we speak.
Have you had a chance to see any of the Cour 3 Blu-ray topics, any of the interview, anything like that, Pythes?
I feel like I've just seen people posting screenshots of comparisons, and I'm going to be honest, I can't tell the difference. They look the same.
So let's start there then, because they did a whole bunch of quality of life improvements in the Cour 3 Blu-ray. Now, I have watched multiple videos. I have seen multiple threads comparing all the differences. They basically went back and did like VFX improvements where they're very minor, and they like added texture to some of the stuff that didn't have texture before. They changed the lighting on some scenes that maybe the lighting was not correct for what was going on. And that's about it. There's no like new scenes that were added. There's no crazy changes. It is just like quality of life improvements that I don't think you or I would ever notice, Pythes.
Did they fix, or I guess update that one, like the one scene of Pernida that looked really bad?
So there is a scene of Pernida that they added texture to Pernida. The specific scene where the CG didn't look great, I'm not sure if they changed that. I didn't see that in any comparison, so my guess would be no. But there is a scene where like they added more detail to Pernida.
Okay, so we're not going to get anything big like removing the shadows from like JoJo. Did you hear about that?
No, I don't even know what that is.
So in part 3, the main character Jotaro likes to smoke, but he's only 17. So in the TV release, they just put a bunch of shadows over his face. It looked really bad.
Interesting, sure.
So when they released it on Blu-ray and DVD, he doesn't have the shadow anymore.
Oh, okay. So they basically removed the censorship.
Yeah, which is really funny.
There is some stuff like in the episode, I believe it's titled Friend, where Bazby and Yugrim fight, where the lighting is off because of like all the fire and stuff that's happening. So they went back and they fixed some of the lighting on the faces of like Yugrim and Bazby. I guess to pivot off of that, we have one of the biggest teases for Bleach TYBW Cour 4. And I put out a video talking about this more in detail. So the very last question. So every time there's a Bleach TYBW Blu-ray that releases, they include an interview. Typically it's Kubo and like the series director. This one, it was Kubo. It was Hikaru Murata, who is the series director. And then it's Tomohisa Taguchi, who is the chief series director. So it's 3 people. They were doing an interview talking about all things of how they made the series, what it was like working with Kubo, what it was like working with the voice actors, how the flow of creating such a show like Bleach works. They really went into detail, and I have the full interview here. We're probably going to cover the full thing on the captain's meeting, so stay tuned for that. But there's one question at the very end that has blown the internet up, and I released a solo video talking about this question.
Oh, okay. Is this the one I've seen where people are like, oh my god, Tokinada's going to be in it?
Yep. This is that question, Pythes.
Oh god, okay, just read it verbatim.
All right, so firstly, shout out to Ichigo Taicho on Twitter. I actually get a lot of information from him when we do the podcast. He is the guy who fully translated the interview all the way through and through. So he tweeted out at the very end of his translation that this is a quote from Kubo saying this. And he says, in Cour 4, ... that character will finally appear. I believe their arrival will be the biggest surprise in all of Bleach.
It's Karia.
I saw someone immediately, they tweeted it and they said, welcome back, Jin Karia. And I was like, oh, that's so good. So good. I tweeted out when I saw that, and I said Omaida's dad.
Oh, yeah, and that was the one I replied to and just said, don't give me hope.
Yeah. That way we get the trio of the fathers wandering around the Seireitei now, or I guess that would be the Varvelt. There was a lot of really good guesses for what it could be. A lot of canon guesses where maybe he's just talking about Aizen. Maybe he's just talking about Kazui. They really opens the book to be anything.
Some people were having like the main villain from Spirits Are Forever With You. Mm-hmm. I forget, Kuriyashiki, I think is his name. He's
Yep,
dead.
Yoruichi Azashiro.
He's very dead. He's very, very dead.
A lot of people, obviously, the number one requested, and this is something that I said in the video, is Tokinata. I think people would lose their fucking minds.
I would.
But
fuck that bitch.
That being said, there is a further update from Ichigo Taicho further discussing the translation and how it could potentially mean something else. So let me read that update before we get too crazy. So he said that he rechecked Kubo's wording, and here's some quick context on what he actually said. The literal translation, if he was to take it 1-to-1 from Japanese to English, says, in Core 4, that character will ... I think it will be the biggest surprise. No verb, just that character will ... And it says, in Japanese, that long pause isn't random. It's a classic way to build suspense. The sentence trails off on purpose so your brain fills in the rest. It usually implies will appear, will awaken, will finally move, etc., etc. Something big is about to happen, which led me to interpret it as that character will finally appear. It wasn't a guess. It's exactly what the Japanese is already hinting at. Apologies, the wording caused any confusion. Just wanted to clarify.
Okay, and that is why now I'm seeing people going, oh, it's the clip of Aizen saying Bankai.
Yes. So it really opens it up to, it could be anything. It could be somebody doing something brand new. It could be a new character showing up. So the original translation is still correct, but it could also just be some character in the thing already doing something else, which is what we've seen with all the other cores already.
With Kubo, I bet he's just talking about the Yoruichi Thunder God form.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like to think the way that I take it is obviously the biggest surprise in all of Bleach. It has to be something that is not already in the manga, is kind of how I take that sentence. It has to be a new scene because I can't think of too much from the manga that I would consider to be the biggest surprise. I still think the biggest surprise in all of Bleach was the original Aizen, heel turn, which was crazy. I don't know how he would beat that, so I'm really interested.
I mean, in the moment, I feel like the Genjo betrayal did sting pretty hard.
Okay. So how does he top a moment like the Genjo betrayal or like the Aizen thing?
Okay, so a Quincy nurse walks onto screen, picks up the Bambi's corpses, then turns to the camera and says, "Can't feel your own world is being adapted," and then walks off.
Yeah. They do the classic Marvel that she picks them up, walks up, it fades to black. We just see white text, the Bambis will return and can't fear your own world. And then that's just the end.
I'd lose my mind.
Any sort of form of Tokinata appearing, I think people would go apeshit. It would seriously be so crazy. And one of the things that I was talking about is that in Can't Fear Your Own World, some of the stuff has already been adapted. Like we talked about the Bambis. We talked about this last season, how them being up in the Varvel is significantly different from where they ended up in the manga, and obviously Can't Fear Your Own World, and they need to end up back in Mayuri's hands, right? That has to be something that happens to set up Can't Fear Your Own World. Shinji's Bankai was taken from Can't Fear Your Own World. That's a pretty easy one to just put a Band-Aid over and just call it a day. So it still can happen.
Well, the battles in the Varvel are so crazy. I could just imagine, like a bunch of rubble falls off, like down to Soul Society, and the two of the Bambis are on it, and that's how Mayuri gets them.
But don't they have to stay up top in the Varvel because if they fall, they'll die?
They're already dead. He turns them into zombies.
Right. You're right. Dead body complexes go straight all the way down.
And it's Mayuri. He can. I guarantee he could recreate you from a cell.
Yeah, he gets just an arm. He's like, oh, this is perfect.
I you know what? I don't even want it to be a featured scene. I want in the background of a shot, we just see Tokinata picking up Grimmy's brain.
I think that's the perfect way to do it, is you don't even draw any attention to it. You just have someone kind of like scraping through the battlefield, just going through, and you see this guy that is identical to Tokinata, just grabbing body parts, just grabbing stuff. And then maybe at the very end, you see just, the classic, like the shot of his feet in his hand, and he just bends down to pick up Grimmy's brain. Cinema.
It's like the scene from after the first invasion of, I think it's Trost in Attack on Titan, where you have the characters cleaning up the bodies, talking about how rough it was. In the background, There's just Tokinata going, oh, what's this?
Yeah. He's like, yoink, slides it right into his coat. Thank you.
Can't wait to do some war crimes with this.
Yeah. Other interpretations of like will appear, we've talked about will awaken, will finally move. One of the things that I was thinking for will finally move, it could just be canon as in like Uryu's father. They've been setting up a lot of new scenes with the Ishida family as a whole, with when we saw the original Ashwelin, and we find out that Uryu collapsed and not his mother.
Which is kind of crazy, by the way. I'm still reeling from that.
So that is something that has been set up before, and we're obviously going to see that pay off in Core 4. So that could be something that they're talking about, which would be crazy.
You think we're going to get... I think we get it like a Harry Potter thing where she's like, oh, I sacrificed my life for you, and that gave you some kind of blah, 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 whatever.
I really do. I really do think that's what we're going to get at this point. And they've also been kind of setting up with the symbolism that Uryu has some form of the Almighty, right? Like when he's fighting against Senjumaru and we see the form start to take place, like the Mimihagi eye.
Right before Core 4, I'm going to have to just rewatch all of Core 2 and 3 because I don't remember most of what happened.
Yeah, definitely worth a rewatch. But I mean, with the way that Kubo has been moving, it could be fucking anything. And now, do we want to talk about, we've talked about this so many times, do we want to talk our opinions on should Aizen use a Bankai?
No, I think we're just going to give everyone the cliff notes and say we prefer the mystery. I don't want to know what it is.
I think the best way to explain this is we look back at the Han Solo movie. We didn't need the Han Solo movie. He was cooler as a mysterious smuggler who's just a cool guy. That's Aizen. You don't need anything more than that.
I didn't need to know what the Kessel Run was.
Exactly. And we're both fine. I think we come on record and say this, that if Kubo wants to like drop that shit in a trivia book way down the line and just never show it, like, hey, here's what Aizen's Bankai was, I'd be like, all right, cool. That's all I need to know. I don't need to see it. I'm not aching to see it. I don't think we should see it. I think what Aizen does in the battle versus Yhwach already in the manga is incredibly fucking cool. Really, really cool. I'm satisfied.
I'd like to imagine that his Bankai just doesn't exist anymore.
That's kind of how I would interpret it, especially that he has, evolved beyond a Soul Reaper, right? And he's merged with his sword, and he can do all the stuff without it now, which I guess you could argue he can maybe do the Bankai still. But I like to think that he sacrificed it.
I guess moving back to the last topic, I would love to see how they got Aizen up to the Varvelt.
Okay.
And I just want someone, they're just pulling him up on a rope. I can't wait for him to stand up.
Another thing that I was guessing as well, by the way, is just like that character will appear, could just literally be Aizen. Just like the talk of Aizen just reappearing and fighting Yhwach. Because it depends, like, I don't know, do you think he's talking specifically in all of the manga and the anime, or just the anime?
It's got to be the manga.
You think so? You think he's including the whole of Bleach? It's going to be the biggest surprise he's going to put in here?
Honestly, I think you're right about because remember, they sold Core 3 to people to go and check it out. Aizen's in it. Here's a chair.
Yeah.
Aizen had like 3 scenes that whole core, and all of them were amazing.
And they were animated incredibly, so they staff clearly loves Aizen as well. Aizen
is first introduced in Core 3 like strapped to a wall, and then he walks forward and everyone lost their minds, including me.
Yeah.
So
he also had one of the coolest parts in Core 1 where he fucked with Yhwach's sense of time. Like, he's just the coolest fucking character ever.
Which, by the way, I still say like that saved Soul Society as a whole.
Oh yeah, it totally did.
Like, it's Akon who's the hero for calling Ichigo, and it's Aizen who's the hero for stalling Yuha.
And I love that even Yhwach in Core 1 was so fucking mad that Aizen did that to him. Just like, he was fucking pissed. One of my favorite scenes.
Because he's like, I'm going to get you. What is that like from Aizen's perspective? Because Yuha and Yugrup are talking and they stand still for like 2 hours because he fucks with them.
Yeah. And then I feel like Aizen, he probably senses it and he's just like down there fucking smirking like a bastard.
Aizen's the best character.
Oh yeah, ever. He's so good. Another honorable mention, if you guys want to see, I did a whole list of people that I would like to see appear. Check out the video. It's on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/weebsguild. I go more into depth on every character that we were guessing, but we got to throw it out. We got to throw it back. If you guys don't remember, there's a last member of the Bounce that's still surviving, wandering around. His name's Koga. So Koga and Ron Tao, the scientist that was directly involved with creating the Bounce, they're still wandering around. So, imagine they show up. That'd be the biggest surprise I've ever seen.
Sam, you absolute bastard. I was waiting for you to say Koga, so I was like, oh, you forgot Ran Tao, you traitor. But you got me.
I mean, I always here's a great reason why I like Ron Tao, and I think the Bounce arc is fucking ridiculous.
Is it because the gun was made?
Yes! She has a fucking machine gun.
Which I like to imagine it like eventually turns into the shotgun Renji has during the OVA.
Totally. And it's like, I think it's better compared to like she has a Tommy gun basically that shoots like fucking spirit particles because she shows up and just fucking starts dousing people with his gun,
which is very unlike Bleach.
Oh yeah, super. I just saw there was an interview, I believe it was for Naruto, and they were talking about how one of the things for Naruto the author was like, hey, no guns ever. No guns. Gunpowder is okay, but it cannot directly lead to the formation of guns. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
It's fair. It's Naruto. Naruto is a ninja show. Like, yeah, you can shoot wizard balls, but you cannot shoot a gun.
Yeah, and I think he said something along the lines like, the moment guns are introduced, it's hard to have a jutsu or anything that's like, okay, now you can't just get sniped.
Yeah, what? Okay, Madara is fighting the entire Shinobi Alliance by himself, but there's just a dude 5 miles away in a tower. Just, boom, got him.
Yep, it's like, so far for Madara, goodbye.
And then you advance, you go, okay, I have infused this bullet with 19 kinds of chakra, and it accelerates at the speed of light.
Yeah, and it's super silent now, and nobody can hear it, and that's my ninja way. It'd be like, all right, just cancel the show.
It's like, where does it end?
So, very excited. That was the biggest quote from the interview that has just been absolutely blown up. I read the whole interview already, and a lot of it is very interesting if you are interested in how an anime is made and what it's like to work with an author of the manga for the anime. A lot of really interesting things talking about bouncing back and forth ideas and how they storyboard and lighting. Kubo gives special credit to somebody on staff that's like a natural lighting person who's just so good at it. So we'll talk about that more in our Patreon exclusive captain's meeting. So we'll see you guys there. Let's talk Bleach TYBW Cour 4 now. So Bleach TYBW Cour 4 is going to be titled The Calamity. It's been a long time coming, but they finally announced the panel announcement for Anime Expo 2025.
Which Sam will somehow bumble his way into. No question.
Yep. This is going to be happening July 4th at 4:45 p.m. to 5:35 p.m. So it's only about 50 minutes. It's going to be happening in the JW Platinum Ballroom, which is not the main stage for like all the high profile events that are happening. So all of the main events this year are happening in the Peacock Theater. This one is not happening there. It's happening in the JW Platinum Ballroom, which I don't think I've ever been to this ballroom before. So that'll be new for me. It is in the JW Marriott, so that'll be interesting. But they are promising a door giveaway for all attendees, announcements about the final part, exclusive content, staff commentaries, great prizes, and they say stay for the end so you don't miss our special announcements.
Okay, so usually they have some kind of guest. So who's the guest going to be for this?
So just guessing on the fact that they haven't announced it as part of the panel announcement, it's probably going to be English voice actors for Bleach is going to be my guess. They've already announced that Wendy Lee is going to be at Anime Expo, not as part of this panel. And also, I can't remember her last name. Michelle, is it Rufio?
Michelle Ruff.
Michelle Ruff, the voice actor for Rukia, is going to be there already. They're selling autographs for them already. So they're going to be at Anime Expo. Aside from this, they haven't announced anything about who's going to be at this panel. Typically, they will drop the full panel list on the website, and that will have the description for all of the panels where we'll find that out, where they'll be a bit more in depth, like join us and Wendy Lee for da-da-da-da, and then that's when you'll find out who's going to be there.
Oh, please let it be just like Johnny Young Bosch and Kylie Bear so we could Ichigo and Aizen.
That'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. I think at this point, right, Bleach TYBW Cour 4 is not going to come out until 2026. I feel like that's a pretty obvious guess at this point.
That's fine.
I don't know what they can really show. I think for reference, last year we got a special preview, and then we got the release date. They dropped the date for the first time ever. That was the two big things. January
1st. Come on, baby. First of the year.
So I could see them doing a spring release this year for sure. I could see a spring release for TYBW War. But I think that's probably all they're going to announce. Typically, they do a lot of like, where you have the voice actors here. We're going to have them live dub some scenes, and it's not exciting. It's not fun. And then they're like, we're going to ask him Q&A. And it's like, Wendy Lee, what did you think when you saw Yoruichi do her thunderclap for the first time? And then she's like, oh, well, I thought it was really cool. And then that's it. So they'll usually fill about 50 minutes doing that stuff. They have done cosplay competitions before, which is something that Jose and I have joked about every year, that if you want to get really good prizes, you should always show up to the Bleach panel dressed up, because they will like give you a special ticket for you to come on stage and like do, like last year was the Scream Bankai. Like it's like who can scream Bankai the best. And then they won like really cool shit, like signed merchandise. So if you want to go, I highly recommend dressing up. Now, what are the odds, Pythes, that if I dress up as Jin Karya, anybody will know what I am?
No, Sam, that's not important. You know what you have to do, you and Jose. You have to. He has to. He has to be Mayuri, and you have to be Xyloparo, so you can recreate the meme.
The only problem with that is just making like Xyloparo is easy. That's no problem. We get a bing bong boom, get that costume together. Mayuri though is a whole thing. That's a tough costume.
It's face paint. It's the captain's robe, but with a big old collar, and it's like the pharaoh crest. You can do that.
I think you mean Jose can do that because that'll fall into Jose's lap there.
I just need you guys to recreate the meme because oh my god, you were so happy when Nemu died.
Listen, let's really break down the character of Nemu since Jose's not here.
Okay, here we go.
What is she good for? Absolutely nothing. So, and she is a victim of abuse. Okay, she's been abused by Mayuri this whole time. She is basically, I mean, Mayuri's not a good person. She is a silent enabler of Mayuri's crimes. Okay, so in that fashion, she's just as bad as Mayuri. So all the crimes of blowing up all of his, his Soul Reapers, Nemu was there. Nemu was there, probably helped out. She probably baited everybody to come inside and get plucked and blown up. Any other thing that Mayuri's done, like getting rid of whole districts in the Rukon, I bet Nemu knew. I bet Nemu was right there. So Nemu is just as much an accomplice in all of the horrible things that Mayuri's done than anybody. And now I would offer a sense of relief to Akon, where I think he's just such a good, upstanding guy. He had no idea.
Sam, that is so wrong. There's like manga panels of Akon helping dissect Quincy's.
Nah, I mean, I think Akon, he didn't know what he was doing. He probably thought it was like a dog or something.
Yeah,
and he
100%
thought it was for science. No, he thought it was for science, for the greater good. He was being fed lies.
Our boner for Akon cannot excuse his war crimes. We can be
I'm excusing them right now. I'm excusing them right now. Where's my gavel? He's excused. Nemu, not excused, though. Not excused. That bitch. She deserved to get blown up.
Sam editing the video, when you hit a gavel, include a gavel sound effect, please.
yeah. So, Nemu, guilty. Akon, not guilty.
What does Kukaku do?
Kukaku's fucking great. What do you even mean by that question, Pythes? Kukaku got them into the Seireitei originally. She saved them. There's that whole filler arc where they're fighting against the Ray guys where she also saved all of the captains. Like, Kukaku's come in clutch on multiple occasions.
It sounds like Kukaku is really good at aiding and abetting terrorists.
But she ended up on the correct side of history, so it's okay. The winners write the history books.
Okay, so Kukaku, massive war criminal, help people break into the Seireitei.
Mm-hmm. But they won and we're good guys, so it's okay.
They were good. Did you ever see, there's like a massive Twitter post, just like 80 paragraphs long, about how Bleach is all a lie, told from the Soul Reaper's perspective to justify the massacre of the Quincy's, and the Quincy's are actually the good guys the whole time?
I have not seen that, but I would full-heartedly agree. And because it's really funny when you break down a lot of the filler arcs that are happening in Bleach. And obviously these are not written by Kubo. Every single filler arc, every single one, the Soul Society has done some heinous, horrible crime. And that's where it stems from every single time.
The bounce, the bounce, they got massacred. I forget.
And they got massacred after being created by the Soul Reapers. And then they decided, actually, we don't like them.
Actually, I know that we made a race of people that are alive and breathing and thinking and sapient, but fuck them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but the secret evil Amagai arc, they killed his dad or something?
I think so. I just remember not giving a shit about that arc.
Because, yeah, he wanted revenge against Yamamoto. And I believe that Yamamoto killed his dad, and then you find out that his dad was, like, poisoned or something, and it had to be done. But, anyways, a simple explanation from Yamamoto to Amagai would have solved that whole arc.
It's like the whole Green Goblin thing at the end of Spider-Man. We're like, hey, maybe if you'd have been like, hey, by the way, Harry, your dad was evil and Spider-Man saved the world.
Yep. That's the Amagai arc. Now, let's talk about the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc. Tale as old as time. I don't remember what his name is. What is the... Is it Koga? It's also Koga, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Koga.
Koga was incorrectly imprisoned on false charges, and they knew it. And Genrei went to go protect his boy Koga, of course, and Genrei didn't communicate with Koga. He was like, hey, just stay there. Just stay there. And then Koga thought he was going to be fucking murdered because he has been falsely imprisoned. So he broke out with Muramasa and broke out thinking that he was this horrible, evil villain. Everybody's going to kill him. And then who do they send to go kill him? Fucking Genrei and Yamamoto. Yamamoto's involved again. And so they seal his ass away. And then Muramasa somehow gets out and is trying to save his master. And now Koga's got this huge grudge against the society.
How about people just speak?
Yep. Communication is key, people. Now, the Ray Guy arc.
I don't remember what happened in the Ray Guy arc other than it had really good animation.
Incredible animation. I believe there is a... Oh, fuck. I'm going to butcher this. Someone created the Ray Guys way back in the day. And then in classic fashion, the Soul Reapers again were like, hey, that's actually not really cool. And they fucked him over. It's
not really cool, even though we have Mod Souls and Nemu hanging around.
Yep.
That guy works in a lab with Nemu and Mayuri.
Yep. So every single filler arc is based off of how horrible the Soul Reapers are. And we go back again to the Quincy's where they were vibing. And even in 1,000 Year Blood War, we see Ichibei talking to Yuha, and Ichibei's offering him this false truth. Remember? Where he's like, oh, well, like, we could live in peace. And then luckily Yuha has the fucking almighty. And he's like, I know you're fucking lying. And Ichibei's like, teehee, you caught me. And that's what starts the whole fucking thing. Where it's like, man, like, there is a world where they could live in peace, you know? But yeah, the Soul Reapers don't have a shred of patience. They don't have a shred of communication. They don't give a fuck about anybody except for themselves.
I've got more.
Okay, go on.
I've got more. Something that frustrates me in every Bleach movie and in every filler arc, Ichigo is always trying to do something, and the Soul Reapers are always mad at him for no reason.
And he's always right. Ichigo is always right. And every time, and this is really a movie thing, in every movie, Ichigo's right. He's speaking the truth, and then like, well, we need to run this by Central 46. We can't just act like that. And then Ichigo's like, you guys need to act now or else the world's going to be destroyed. Fuck you, Ichigo. If you do this, we're your enemy. And that's the premise for everything.
Every time. I remember like the Lady Rukia arc, like she is being attacked by ninjas. So Ichigo goes in and saves her, and Soifal's like, what are you doing here, Ichigo? This is sacred ground. Then she fights him, and I'm like, but bitch, she's being attacked by ninjas.
Yep.
Like every arc, every movie, Ichigo's like, I don't want this girl I just met to die. And they're like, nah, she's the Shininju or whatever. She's got to go.
Yep.
And I feel like it goes back to like the central thing of like the Soul Society arc of Ichigo being like, hey, maybe you shouldn't blindly follow dogmatic teachings and just listen to the 46. Maybe you should think for yourself.
Well, let's throw in the second Bleach movie, which is the most egregious of them all.
Yep.
Where there were 2 Hyorin Marus that were birthed. And what is the answer that Central 46 comes up with?
Kill yourself.
One of you needs to die because that's not allowed.
We can't just have 2 of them making the Soul Society stronger because both of them were loyal soldiers and very talented, but now one of you got to go.
Yep. And that causes all kinds of fucking problems. Like, they're just so, honestly, I'm going to say it here, I'm going to say it proud. Aizen was right.
Now, Aizen was an egomaniac, but I think the Quincy's were right.
Aizen was right, dude. He killed Central 46. Fuck those guys.
Oh, yeah, that part was hype. I wish that had been on screen.
Yeah, we're going to make a fan cut. You know how like One Piece has like One Piece fan letter where they do like these little fan animations and they show like what's happening on the side? It's going to be that, and it's just going to be just a cut of Aizen like John Wick style going in and just murdering all of Central 46.
No, it's fun because he's already has them under Kyokusui. It's funny if he just walks in, stab, walk to the next guy. Stab, walk to the next guy. Stab. And he's like, all right, let's go get Taco Bell.
They need to have a scene like it was when Itachi was murdering all the Uchihas. You know, that's what we need.
Oh, that shit was fire, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I still think it's bullshit. Itachi's a good guy.
I'm not even gonna have that argument with you right now. But
we need to have like a whole episode of the podcast just devoted to talking shit about Naruto because I love Naruto.
I love Itachi.
I love
Itachi.
I love Naruto, but I also hate Naruto. It's the best show and also the worst.
Well, anyways, Soul Reapers suck. They're evil. I agree with that 100%. Do we want to hop over to some Club Outside questions?
Yes, but let's not forget to do our Discord questions, because we always do.
Got it. All right. So let's do the Club Outside questions. We got 3 this week. Some of them are okay, and some of them are, par for the course. So the first one is, Shuhei wears a sleeveless shahakusho all year long, but how does he never catch a cold?
I think he does catch a cold. He just hides it.
And so Kubo goes, just a hunch, but I feel like you're trying to pull a idiots don't catch colds type of answer out of me. I'll have you know that Shuhei is an elite, and no, he doesn't catch colds.
I thought Kubo hated Shuhei.
So I think here's what it is, and I totally get this as well, because I feel the same way. Have you ever, like, there's something that you like, let's say you like to do something, but the moment somebody asks you to do it, you're like, you know what, I don't want to do it.
Yep.
I think that's what Kubo is getting. He's like, he's tired of people knowing that he hates Shuhei and trying to set him up for, like, oh, Kubo's going to slam dunk this answer and roast Shuhei. And Kubo's like, stop fucking asking me that.
I love Kubo. He's the best.
Oh, yeah. He's a petty motherfucker. Kubo's awesome. Question number 2. When Yoruichi revealed her human form to Ichigo, she said that she never gets tired of people's reaction to that reveal. Does that mean that Byakuya also got fooled by her when he was young? It would be amusing if he were to think it's just a normal cat and started talking to it in cat language.
I guarantee that happened.
Kubo said, he's been fooled just like that multiple times.
Remember, your Zanpakuto spirit is like a mirror of your soul, and Shinbon Sakura is just a big goof. I think most of Byakuya is like putting on an act that he's calm and in control. Yeah. I feel like he gets got way more often than you'd think.
Well, I love the setup to the question because it's not even like, I thought the question was going to go like, oh, has Byakuya seen Yoruichi naked? But this guy wants to know if there's ever been a time that he thought it was a normal attack and starts talking to, like, in cat language, like, oh, like, hello, like, oh, meow, 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 meow. And then it's just Yoruichi.
Imagine not even transforming when the cat speaks. It's a deep male voice, like, hello.
Yeah. It's like, oh, come here. Hey, Byakuya. And then he's like, oh, fuck you. And then in classic Byakuya fashion, I'm sure he instantly attacked the cat. So,
oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then he's like, there will be no black cats allowed on the premises anymore.
Yeah. There's a new fucking sign put up on the front of the Byakuya residence. No black cats.
Byakuya is way funnier than people give him credit for.
And question number 3. When it comes to her drawing skills, did Ichika inherit her father or her mother's artistic talent?
Does Renji have artistic talent?
Well, you're about to find out right now, because Kubo says, when it comes to drawing, she leans towards Renji's. But both Rukia and Renji's artistic skills are equally bad.
Okay, that's fire. It's a great answer.
So I like these questions because I feel like although they're a little bit on the dumb side, they are fun. These were fun questions to ask. And obviously the first one about Shuhei wearing a sleeveless shahakusho, that one was just funny because Kubo fucking slammed that one.
It's much better than, hey, I figured out the squad positions by checking the gates.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. So
how on earth, okay, we're going on a tangent. How is Robert going to fix that?
Hey, we'll wait and see. He hasn't got to that one yet. So I would like to take this moment and clear my name, by the way, because I put out a video on Wednesday talking about the new quote that was dropped about what character he could be referring to. And everybody in the Discord was like, oh, so you're not sick. First of all, okay, I have been sick for like a fucking week before that, okay? I finally had some time off. I was like, this is going to be so good. It's a holiday. I get 3 days off instead of my normal 2. It's going to be awesome. And the moment I have my first day off, I get deathly ill. Like, so fucking sick. And then I'm sick for my first day off. I'm sick for my second day off. I'm sick for my third day off. And I'm equally sick and I'm taking medicine the whole time. And then on my fourth day off, well, not my fourth day off, on the fourth day, I'm supposed to go to work. And I am still so fucking sick. And in California now, there's a new COVID strain going around apparently, which fuck my life. So I'm like, let me take a COVID test. I take a COVID test. I'm negative. I don't have COVID. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the doctor because I have to go to work today. And I really need like some fucking medicine that's going to work. So I go to the doctor and they're like, hey, like, what's up? And I tell them the same thing. I've been sick for 3 days, been taking cold medicine nonstop. I just don't feel any better. And they're like, cool. So they're like, we want to test you for the flu. Probably, have you ever been tested for the flu?
No.
They stick a basically giant Q-tip so far up your fucking nostrils that you can feel it touching your fucking brain. Like, I thought I was going to pass out and die. So she comes in and she's like, hey, here it is. And she's showing it to me. And I'm like, okay, you know, like the original COVID test, like when COVID first came out, they did a similar thing like that where it was like a Q-tip they put up your nostril. And I'm like, okay, so I joke with her. I'm like, you know, oh, I did the OG COVID test. Like, that's gonna be no problem. She's like, okay, good. Like this one I don't think is as bad. She puts it in my nose. I start having a fucking panic attack by these. Like, I'm like, my head is pushed up against the seat. I'm like shaking that she's pushing this thing so far up my fucking nostril. And I start to see stars. I start blacking out. Like she's just in my head. And so finally she takes out and I have tears coming down my eyes because, like, you know, sometimes you hit something, you just start tearing up.
Yeah.
And I have tears running down my eyes. And she's like, okay, I need to do the other nostril now. I'm like, I about passed out on the spot. I'm like, I told her, give me 1 second. I got to regain myself here. So we wait like 30 seconds. She's like, okay, here I go. Does it immediately? My head's up against the thing. My eyes are closed. I'm seeing stars. I'm like, this is just the worst treatment. After all that, okay, give us 15 minutes to run the test. You don't have the flu. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, so what do I have then? She's like, you just have like a very severe cold and it's very contagious. So I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, well, are you working like today? I was like, I was actually going to go to work right after this. No, you're not. And she's like, do you work where you're isolated? I'm like, no, I actually work with, like, there's a lot of people. Yeah, you're not going to work today. She's like, do you work for the weekend? And I was like, yeah, I work Sunday night. And she was counting. She's like, hey, it'd be like 1 day on your new medicine, 2, 3. No, you should not be going back to work until Monday. She's like, I'll give you a doctor's note. And then so the moment she left, I called my boss. I'm like, hey, I'm so fucking sorry. I can't come into work today and I can't be back till Monday. And he was like, okay. He's like, thank you. So yeah. I was very sick. And even when Jose was recording the last podcast, he can vouch. I was super fucking sick.
I saw you in there setting stuff up a little bit and you looked like hell.
Yes. So I was just rotting for like fucking 6 days in a row. And I still have like a really bad cough. Like I'm still coughing up phlegm nonstop. I haven't gotten over it just yet, but you know, who can tell at this point? So, fuck you guys first and foremost. And let's take that moment to pivot off of that and thank our Patreon supporters. So really a lot of these people are the ones that have been shitting on me for it. So if you guys don't know, we do have a Patreon with tiers as low as $5, and you can get added perks and support the channel. So we have a Elites tier that is a Captain's tier, and then we have Espadas, we have Visors, we have one Espada, and we have all of the Captains filled out for the Soul Society. I'm going to start from the bottom here. So a personal thank you to PV, Matilda, Rizix, Veronica Bermudez, Pickle Rick, Sarah Berry, Aether Paradox, Head Captain About Chilsey, also Chad Zabuelo, Braxton, Diego Ace 3030, Rustin Pierce, Tribunal, the Solo Espada, Rolando A. Ramirez, and then lastly, Divine Departure, who doesn't have his name, 800 characters long this week. So thank you guys to our captains and our Espadas. We appreciate you guys very much. And of course, we also put the names of anybody that supports it, the member tier on the screen. So thank you guys so much as well.
I would like to I want to give an anti shout out, a fuck you, in fact, to John, who we created the Espada tier for and then left.
We created the Espada tier, and then he decided that he wants to spend his money buying everybody Rebirth of Souls, and now that game's deader than a fucking doorknob. So
it was fun for a month.
Yes, they haven't added any updates yet. Like, what the fuck? Like, push something, please. Like, it's just sitting there dead.
Give us crossplay.
Yeah, that would be cool. So let's do now, since we're talking Discord, we're talking our voice. By the way, if you guys haven't already, join our Discord. We have the best Discord. It's so much fun. I totally love everybody in Discord. I am only playing. Everybody's very, very nice. And we have actually multiple questions from the Discord. There's an exclusive channel in our Discord, one for Patreon supporters, and two, where you can ask the Bleach Boys a question, and we'll read it live on the podcast. So we're going to get to that right after we do the Seireitei Times, which is by our very own Chilsey.
Yeah, I'm just giving. I want to give everybody a warning to say if you are a big enough character in the Discord, Chilsey will add you to the lore, and you will be the Seireitei Times doing something weird.
Yeah, so you've been warned. This one is titled "The Best Day Ever," so I can already assume this is going to be about me being sick. So here we go. While Sam's bald antibodies have failed him and left him ill, his enemies take it as an opportunity to strike. Divine Departure even managed to recruit John the Bully, Kubo, and even Sam's fiance to assist in the mugging. There is a picture of like a little elf, and it says Santa's little helper holding a sign. Is that my fiance?
I think it's supposed to be.
I think we're just going to assume the little elf is my fiance. And then on the TV, it says Pythes is a gay racist robot. So you're still represented in there as well, Pythes, just on the TV.
Good to know.
And it continues on. The full force of Chad couldn't be present for the assassination attempt because Shinda and Pickle Rick and Black and Dreams all attended Jose's Bankai Spirit's graduation ceremony. Jose cried the whole time.
I mean, I would too.
Yeah, and then there's she is still in baby form, by the way. She just has now a graduation hat on. So congratulations to baby Nemu.
She's going to be the lead star of the next Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 8.
Oh, there you go. Yes. And then the next article is Seireitei Times, a day of celebration. It says esteemed Discord member Pickle Rick got a new job. He's making bank selling pickles and premium diamonds. Wow, congratulations, Pickle Rick. And it says, in less important news, it's Momo's birthday, and she's all alone with schizophrenia hallucination of Aizen. So everybody should point and laugh at her and then celebrate Jose's birthday. And it says all of Jose's friends with him a happy birthday. And it shows everybody wishing Jose a happy birthday. You're there, Pyles. I'm there as a mouse. Baby Nemu's there. The Queen of England is there, posthumous. We got everybody there celebrating Jose. It's just another one of his 30 birthdays a year. So happy birthday to Jose.
Yeah, I contacted Josie. I was like, why is Sam a mouse? And he's like, shut up.
Yeah, I get all kinds of different forms, I suppose. But happy birthday, Jose. It's not actually his birthday, in case anybody's wondering, but happy birthday.
I don't even know when his birthday is. It's just memes.
I do, but I've sworn not to say it because I'm going to see if they can get it correct.
Okay, Trivial responded, and I said, why is Sam a mouse? He just said, if you give Sam a cookie. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And I'd go for a cookie right now, to be honest.
It's the name of a book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and that's what that mouse is from.
Oh, okay. I've never read that ever.
Well, let's do the Discord questions now. We have one from Divine Departure. And he says, question, since they're adding extra scenes and stuff, is there anything you guys would love to add that makes sense to the plot still? He says, mine would be to see Ichigo and Uryu's dad's fight, even have Uryu's dad die, which gives Uryu a reason to actually become a doctor after seeing his dad fight for his deceased wife.
That'd be interesting. I like that.
So when I first read that, I thought he meant like Ichigo and Uryu's dads would fight each other. But now I'm saying they would just hop into the fight as well, which I guess would make sense because we did get Ichigo's dad helping fight against Aizen. So it would be cool to see them, hop in again and get their asses whooped. But I think that'd be a cool scene. I don't think, is his name Ryukin? I don't think Ryukin should die. That'd be sad.
I really like the thing we workshopped earlier where it's just in the background Tokinata fighting Grimmy's brain.
We have a couple of other responses from people. It says, Tribarule here says, a screen I would personally like to see is them somehow fight Gerard. After Kenpachi does his Bankai, he still isn't defeated, but they show up and take him down enough that Kenpachi can finish the job. So he wants to add on to the scene of not Ichigo and Uryu's dads necessarily fighting Yuhabaha, but hopping in on the Gerard gangbang.
Adding into like the mat, like a fight that's already a clusterfuck with all of the visors there.
Yeah.
I would say you take Ichigo, no, what's his name? Ryukin and Ishin. Ryukin and Ishin, you add them to the, what's his name? Yugrim fight. They fight Yugrim before Uryu does.
Okay, that would be cool.
And then you get a cool fight scene. They're injured. Uryu does his thing, and that explains why they're stalled in getting the arrow for the final fight with Yuha.
Would you take that over? Because isn't like one of the coolest parts, and this is just based off total memory, when Ryukin comes out of fucking nowhere and just shoots the still silver arrow down towards Uryu, and Uryu's like, what the fuck? And then you just see Ryukin standing there all cool.
Yeah, you have that scene, but like they fight Yugrim first, and then they're taken out. So then they can come in later, and they're like, that's why he wasn't there from the beginning, because he was injured.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I would dig that. I mean, I feel like we have talked time and time again, and the Gerard fight is just so full already. And I think I wouldn't add any other characters to the Gerard fight, but I would add more scenes for the Visors versus the Gerard fight, which is something we joked about, I think, a couple episodes ago about watch Core 4 is going to come back and they're going to be all defeated on the ground already.
I would pay money for that. Like, I'd hate it, but it's so funny. I want it to happen.
I hope that doesn't happen. And I hope they get some scenes because I would like to see them. I feel like we are in the era of seeing combo attacks. I would really like to see some sort of a visored combo attack. I think that'd be really, really cool. They have a lot of really unique abilities and skills, especially when they're actually finally using their hollow mask, which is supposed to be poison to the Quincy's. That'd be really cool for them to harp back on that again.
I want all of them to mask up and then just all blast him with a Sero at the same time.
That'd be cool. Like, kind of dice him up like Swiss cheese. Like, they all just fucking teleport to different sides of him.
Yeah, because with the miracle, you can mess him up in any possible way, and he'll just be back.
I think that would be cool. I don't know what else I would add in terms of like just like plucking scenes from a hat. So, Chad and Ganju, you know who they fight, right?
Nobody.
They fight. Yeah, nobody. I think it's stone soldiers. It's like fucking Harry Potter chess that they're playing against. You know who would make a premium fight?
I don't know, Sam. Could it be a mustachioed badass who we didn't ever get to see die?
Correct, Pythes. Robert motherfucking Accuthrone. He should be making his way up there. His scene has not been added. We haven't seen him get dissolved. He's still around doing something. The Bambietta force has made their way up there. There's no reason why Robert Accuthrone can't also be up there.
Absolutely. He's the greatest character that never got anything.
I think he would be perfect. We can't have like a lot of the lesser Soul Reapers. I feel like they're already down in the Soul Society dealing with, Liege Barrow. They're hanging out, having a good time. So I feel like they're written off, but I think any of those characters up there would be really cool.
Okay, so Sam, I know you hate him as a character. Would you be satisfied with Zombie Kira versus Robert?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I would take that because I think Zombie Kira is pretty cool. As far as that character goes, I think that's probably the coolest fucking version of him. Now, another scene that I would like to see. Now, I bet you're on board with this one as well, Pythes. Hanataro using his Shikai canonly. Let's get that.
Okay, so he's up there, and he's what's his name? Gerard is just having a tantrum. He runs through. He's healing all of the visors that are dead on the ground, charging up his Shikai. And he just blasts Gerard's head off.
And finally, I would even like it, like, if Gerard sees this fucking blast coming from a mile away, he's like, what the fuck is this? And then it just, like, eats his ass up.
And once again, Gerard can heal from anything, so, like, you can mess him up as bad as you want.
Yep. So I would like to see Hanataro do something. I think it'd be really cool.
Hanataro, although, you know what? Forget that. I just want it to keep cutting back to him paralyzed on the ground.
It's like, let's go back and get Hanataro's reaction. He's still just, like, fucking twitching on the ground.
I'm so mad that they didn't adapt that in Core 3.
Every once in a while you see him and he's now slowly trying to crawl to get away.
But, so it'll just happen over the course of like 12 episodes. And eventually you see him at the Gerard fight and like Kenpachi's arm is broken off and he's like, he's so good, Maru. And he just starts healing people.
You know who we also need to see? We're just pulling out all the Bleach Boys bangers. I'm just going through my memory bank here. Komamura and Iba. Where the fuck are they at?
They are on the ground getting Taco Bell.
No shit. Like, last we saw them, they're heading towards Yuhabaha. We never fucking saw them again.
To be fair, the scene where they were heading towards Yuhabaha was before they got, like, beamed up like Star Trek.
Didn't we also see them when they were trying to rally everybody to go to Urahara's lab and we saw them for a second still just wandering around?
I think so, and we were hype because they were like, yeah, they're going to do something.
So that's another suggestion. Please do something.
Unless I'm crazy. During that scene, wasn't he also like, nah, we'll go our own way?
I think so. But that's why not we'll go our own way. Are they going to go up to the Varvel? Are they going to fight when Aizen's down here? Like, what the fuck are they going to do?
They use Shadow Sneak. They're about to get up there and just stab him in the back.
Another scene, please. Hallible. Please.
I don't even need her to do anything. I just want to see them release her.
Yep. Another shout out I gave in the video is also Ichibei. He had his Shikai out in the anime, which is different from the manga. Is he going to do something with it? Probably not.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he just continues to be creepy and like, yeah, you shouldn't trust him.
I would be down if they adapt some of the scenes from Camp Your Own World where he was narrating the backstory of the Soul King, and we get that in Core 4.
I want them just to adapt the beginning of Camp Your Own World where he's talking to Shunsu and he's like, so here's what's up. And then we get Grimjow and Nell.
I'd be totally down for that.
That scene is so good.
Mm-hmm. And also the part where they're all hanging out in Kukaku's house. Let's just add that one on there as well.
I love that anytime something bad happens, you just go to Kukaku's house. It happens in every filler arc. Happens in canon.
About it really runs in the Kurosaki bloodline. Because also anytime that there's something happens in the real world, where are they at? Ichigo's room. It's a curse of the family. Did you see there's a TikTok of like Ichigo's room and it shows all the captains in it from that scene in the Reggae arc, and it goes Ichigo's neighbor and he's just dead on the ground. Yeah. Reggae arc has some good things about it, even if it's mostly garbage. Oh yeah. I mean, there's some good stuff and everything. So, you ready for the next question? Yep, this better be a good one. This one's from Matilda. We love Matilda. Matilda asks, I got a question. What minor character would you guys like to see get their own light novel like Shuhei? Do you want me to give you a couple responses already?
Yeah, give me the responses.
Divine Departure said, Gen, seeing how he started his whole plan and the way he viewed everything while being partnered with Aizen until his death. Then we have Tribarul. He would like Komamura and the Wolfman clan. Perhaps get some backstory on the sins they committed to become wolves. We have another vote from Third Seat Kenjin. He wants Gen as well. And then we have Cedric. And Cedric says he's not sure about something similar to the light novel, but he would like to see something, side stories about surviving the Fullbringer, or the surviving Fullbringers after the Lost Agent arc, or even the Visors after escaping the world of the living.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really like. Oh yeah! Isn't this the question I added you about?
Yes.
Okay, because I saw the answers. I would love a Gen novel, just because Gen is such a snarky, sarcastic shithead that, like, I want him to. He's talking to a character and he's very polite in conversation, and you hear his inner monologue, and he's just talking the biggest trash. That's all I want.
That'd be cool. I'm trying to think of who else you could adapt, because I think it would also be cool, similarly, to see like a random like fraction like point of view of during primo Espada time in Hueco Mundo. You know, like how do you interact with all these different people where they're all fucking killers? And it's like, oh, I'm just gonna walk through, you know, Hueco Mundo. I'm just gonna have a great time. Oh, I turned on this corner. Oh, there's Yami. Oh my god, I turned on this corner. Oh my god, there's fucking Noyatora. It's like you just can't ever escape.
All right, well, why don't we have what's the one about collaborative novel, compilation novel, where every chapter is the fraction of an Espada.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
And then for the ones that don't have one, like, I guess, Okiora, you're just like, okay, day in the life of average Iran car that has to be around him.
Yeah, and it's just awkward interactions with Okiora. You just never know what to fucking do when you're standing in a room with him.
And he's like, you didn't bow to Aizen 7 times, dead.
Okay, I got one. Here's what I would like to see. I think it could be done. It would have to be done very skillfully, so that'd be a really good writer that does this book. A Baragon novel.
Okay, yes.
He's been around forever.
His past.
Yeah.
As the ruler of Hueco Mundo.
And it could end. The novel could end when Aizen shows up. Like, that would be a great little ending scene of the novel where, like, Aizen finally shows up, knocks him off his fucking crown. Like, it's it. It's done. His throne's over. But I want to learn, like, the history of Hueco Mundo. Like, what was it like back in the day? Like, with Baragon ruling over everybody.
He was talking about he was so bored that he was like, man, I'm going to split up my forces into 2 armies and just make them fight each other, because why not?
Yeah, give me that. That'd be good. Or, we talked about this also, I would take a light novel of the Quincy's from that time of Yuha Baha, where it's like that fantasy realm that they were all living in that we saw in the flashbacks for Friend. That'd be just fucking awesome.
Look like Disney Castle, like Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
How old are Basby and Yugra, man?
Ancient, but like I would take any novel. Now I think we pitched before of like a rebel force fighting against Yuha Baha's forces in the Quincy territory would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be sick. It'd be like Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, so that's the answer.
Any of those would be good. Obviously the Baragon one is also kind of pivoting off of Campfire World.
You know what? Hold on. Cool. Let's expand on the Baragon. I think the downfall after a loss is just as interesting as the rise. So half the novel is his past. The other half is him, like, having to live under the rule of Aizen, where he is forever made Espada 2, because Aizen will never make him Espada 1.
I would like that so much, because I'm sure, like, probably a quarter of that would be Baragon just talking about how much he fucking hates Stark and he doesn't deserve it.
That, and I want to know why he has the weird friendship with Tosin where they're playing chess.
That'd be cool. Now, what about this? Here's what I'm going to pitch. We're going to get a half-C novel, right? Half of it is going to be Baragon, and then half of it is going to be Yamamoto, and it's just going to be the 2 old people novels, and it's just going to be, they would be talking about experiences that happen at the same time from both point of views.
I would love there to be a scene where, like, there's a Soul Reaper trapped in Hueco Mundo for whatever reason that is brought before King Baragon, right? And Yamamoto has to go in there and get him out, and then we just get the 2 oldest, strongest beings ever just having a conversation.
Yep.
Because we never got that in the Fate Card Kuroton arc, and I'm still mad.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I would pay so much money just for that novel, for that exchange.
That exchange, you just rip out the 3 pages it takes place on and then throw the rest away.
Yeah. All right, I got 2 more questions, and these are little rapid-fire ones. Are you ready?
Yep.
Who's the hottest, Rangiku, Isane, or Nemu?
Isane, what the fuck you mean?
Now, I guess this is really only a question for me, because we know Jose would say Nemu.
Yeah.
I hope that Rangiku was not thrown in there for me, because I fucking hate Rangiku. So I'm going to also follow suit and go Isane.
Rangiku is an attractive character design. It is her personality I do not like.
Yep. Yep. And then we have a follow-up question. Who's the cutest? Rukia, Nanao, or Yumichika?
I'm forgetting who Nanao is. Nanao. Okay, yeah, right now. No, it's Rukia.
Yeah, it has to be Rukia. Obviously, I think the ranking goes Rukia number 1, Yumichika number 2, then Nanao.
Now I keep forgetting exists, even though she just had a big scene in Core 3.
Yeah. See, so that just shows how just not cute she is. You don't even remember her.
And, like, Rukia has, like, the cool bro tomboy energy with a big girly side. Like, you can't look at her holding the plushies during the Fullbring arc and not think she's adorable.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100%. We're on the same page.
It's against the law.
Really quick before we wrap, I also just want to throw this out here so you guys can just keep track of all the dumb shit that I'm buying. I don't know if you saw Pythes, but they released a set of Bleach ties. Did you see this?
No, not at all.
So it's a special like Father's Day thing that they're doing where they're like, oh, like this comes with a gift box, making it a perfect gift for Father's Day. And it's 9 ties. And the characters they have one for Ichika, one for Uryu, one for Rukia, Shunsui, Toshiro, Byakuya, Grimjo, Urahara, and then Aizen. And they all have like different little tidbits. So like Aizen's, for example, it's just a lot of the crosses in the rubble for like when he's building the Hado 90, Koro Hitsugi. And then it has for Byakuya, obviously petals that goes all the way around. For Rukia, it has her Zanpaku toe on it. For Ichigo, it has the Soul Reaper badge and it has the colors that match with it. They looked really fucking clean. And as someone who has to wear ties occasionally for work, I was like, dude, instant cop, instant buy.
That I saw some Yu-Gi-Oh sneakers that had cool designs. I want the red eyes.
Okay, that's cool. I gotta give credit though. The Naruto collab with Converse was fucking awesome. They did such a good job of that.
Just completely random tangent.
Did you see that they had the Sasuke? So the Sasuke ones are the best, by the way. They had the Sasuke sneakers, and it was his Orochimaru outfit, and it had the curse mark on it. And when you take the shoes outside and it hits the UV rays, the curse mark spreads across the shoes.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah,
that's
isn't
awesome.
that the coolest fucking thing ever?
So I just wanted to. So it was my older sister's birthday fairly recently.
Okay, happy birthday! And
she loves coffee, so I got her. You know, she's got the kids. So it's the classic mug says "World's Best Mom," but
nice.
But when you finish drinking the coffee, because the coffee has heated the inside, it just reads "Dumb Bitch Juice."
Nice.
She loved it. She loved it. She adores it. I'm so happy.
Okay, yeah, it's a great present.
This is how we show love in my family.
Oh, good.
With insults. All
right, well, let's wrap it there. We're going to head over to the captain's meeting. We have so much more to talk about, including the rest of the Core 3 interview. Pythes has some stuff to talk about. Animazement. There's another Anime Expo announcement that I want to talk about as well. So we're going to be talking some conventions. We're going to be talking more Bleach TYBW Core 3 interviews. So if you are interested in that, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/weebsguild. And of course, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We appreciate you all. We'll see you guys next week for another Bleach Boys. Goodbye, everybody.